What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. We have a round of usual suspects as the guests on the show, and some of them, I ain't gonna say who is gonna get it today because their team lost the derby. And man, are we gonna have some fun rubbing that shit in. But before, if you're watching on YouTube at Ian Edwards or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards, please like and subscribe. And tell your friends about it. And if you're listening, you're probably listening at allthingscomedy.com, Omni Studio, iTunes. Yeah, I forgot iTunes. How do you forget iTunes? And wherever else you could listen to podcasts. Some people are telling me it's not on Spotify anymore. I got to check that. But if it's not, you can listen at those places. And All Things Comedy is a podcast hub for some of the most brilliant comics in America. Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, Bobby Lee, Tom Popper, and the list goes on. Eliza Schlesinger. Eliza has a podcast here, Aaron? Or am I making it up? No, Kate, she doesn't. So I made that up. Just so ignore that. But go to allthingscomedy.com and check out all the comics there that have podcasts. I just wanted to mention a woman's name, and I just grabbed one out of thin air. You got me. Aaron Brungardt is our producer, so thank you for putting this shit together every week. And the sponsor is OnTheVolleyApparel.com. If you go to OnTheVolleyApparel.com, you'll see tanks, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies. I'm wearing one. And this one got the Wu-Tang logo with the soccer field right in the middle. So they got stuff like this there for men and women. And use my promo code Comic Rant. You get 20% off. And let's get into the guests. One is missing and will be showing up soon. But right now, we got actor and comic Martin Harris. You've seen Martin in a bunch of movies and TV shows, CSIs, The Hunt, and he's a voice of a lot of video games. And he roots for a team that sucks ass, Spurs. Give it up for Martin. What up, Martin?
And, from the East Coast this time.
Oh, yeah, you're in Atlanta. Well, the Middle Coast, or it is really East Coast, to be honest. And we got Neil Chakravarty, comic, born in India, lives in San Diego. And as you can tell by the miniature Drogba shirt on the wall behind him.
Oh, it is a different shirt.
Yeah, it's a different shirt.
It's Champions League week, baby.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So he got shirts depending on what week his
team of the week.
Yeah.
But
so
do you buy them for American prices or Indian prices? The shirt.
Prices, UK prices.
Okay, that's the most expensive. Then you spend some money. Yeah.
You're a true supporter.
I don't think this one was. This is a pretty old one. I don't know where I bought this one, but
that one looks small enough to dangle from your car mirror. Are you sure?
I feel like there's some sort of visual illusion happening because these all fit me. I'm a medium, so these are all mediums.
When you look in your camera or on your screen and you look back in the back of your room, does that look like your size, or you robbed the kid? You look like you robbed the kid, bro.
Probably.
Let me ask you, Neil. Did you have a chance to see Drogba when he played in the MLS live or not?
No, never got to see him. I was supposed to go see him when he was playing at not MLS. You know, when he played like a season in the lower leagues in Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix. His last season, professional season.
Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to go. I had tickets to go, but then he missed an entire month. It wasn't even that he was injured. He just chose to not play a month. So
he had to go stop a war somewhere. You know how Drogba do.
Yeah. Stop a war and then doesn't really stop, so you go have to stop it again.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man. He's done more than leaders of countries. So fuck it. I'm trying to figure out where we should start first. You know what I mean? I want to say the derby, but I know Lee's going to have some smart shit to say to Martin. So I kind of want to hold off on that first. So let's
I
get
thought
into.
you're gonna let AJ and Iman lose on Martin this week.
Well, technically, both teams, both London.
No. We're gonna skip the derby just for now. Let Lee have his.
Man U and West Ham. That was technically the game of the week.
Yeah. We could get into that.
Second and fifth.
Yeah, second and fifth. Well, we were
Yep.
third when we actually played them, so we really needed to beat them because Leicester just beat the crap out of Sheffield. So we were third and fifth, and we needed to get all the points so that West Ham would become less of a threat. Period. And it was a scrappy game, but it's so funny how Man U fans view a game like this. Like we created some chances and we hit the post, but if we had won by 3, the same game, the fans would have been like, it's a great game. But because the balls hit the post and they're not going to net, then they say, well, it wasn't worth watching. So it's only if the ball goes in the net. It's like the deciding factor. Meanwhile, we had a lot of the ball, and we had like 617 passes. All of them might not have been forward, but it's tough. And West Ham, like, sat back. You know what I mean? Like, they just chilled, and they came out with no teeth. The only team that played with less teeth this weekend was probably Spurs versus Arsenal in the first half. So
we even bit because we got the red card. That's enough teeth.
We'll get into that. That was the only biting you did, was earning the red card. Like, that was the only fighting you did.
And I was ready to compliment you, and
you can still compliment me, but you had to know that we love when Spurs lose. So I don't know what show you thought you was coming on. You know what I mean? You're like, just come on, you know the deal. You love it when Man U loses. You turn the knife every time you come through. If we have a bad day, so we got a own goal, but we earned that own goal in this game. Like, we put the pressure on them. We put them in a situation for the own goal to happen. We put ourselves forward. We took the chances, and shout out to our defense. Yes, Lindelof and Maguire for doing their thing. And I still say props to Fred and McTominay, even though people are not big fans of them being our midfield. And we held off Mikel Antonio, who's a pain in the ass, even though, Moyes applied a system that did not suit him. Like, Moyes, last year when you asked Mikel Antonio why he was scoring goals towards the end of the season after Project Restart, he said, the coach simply told me, stay in the box. And then Moyes employed a system that took Antonio out of the box where he would be a threat. So thank you, Moyes, for hooking us up and presenting West Ham as less of a threat as they could have been. And everybody's saying West Ham should have went for it more, but if they did, they would have lost. So, and they had no Lingard, so we didn't have to, you can't play against your parent club. But yeah, I didn't think it was that bad of a game, and I'll take the 3 points. And if any one of you two want to say something about it, fine.
Yeah, I actually liked what you guys did. I think you played disciplined, you play organized, you dominated the game, and I would say a year ago that would be a draw probably, because you didn't know how to break teams like that down and create chances and score that one winning goal. And I think that's a progress. I think that's a progress from Man U, and that will potentially make you contenders next year, because you took this step forward and you know how to win those games. Now the next step would be, not to concede points against really bad teams, but you already didn't concede against defending teams. So that's already one step forward. Another step is, to break down the teams that completely park the bus, because West Ham, they did play defensive football and they wanted to get a point, but still they have some quality and they could have, taken something out of the game, where some other teams like Sheffield or West Brom completely parked the bus and they got you guys on counterattacks. So that would be another step forward. But this was a major step forward for me. for Man U to win that particular game, where you had to play a positional attack, where you have to dictate the tempo of the game, create chances, and score.
Oh, thank you, Martin. I really appreciate that. Well, somebody's banging something, and it's going to pick up on the thing. So I don't know who it is, but
is it like click? Is it something like this?
Well, I heard that, but something else. What? Neil, do you have any combo about our big, huge 3-point?
Hey, you just need the points, right? You just need the points, and you don't really care how they come at this stage, because no team here is Man City. Like, none of our teams are the final product, so you are not gonna have these 3-0, 4-0 final wins. It was a tight game. I was a little surprised with the way West Ham played, because it almost felt like, how they approached the Liverpool game. And they really didn't. I mean, they can. Like, they have, they have players. They have a system that can do things going forward, but they barely tried much. And coming off the back of the Manchester derby, like, if I'm Solskjaer, like, this has been a great week. The way he likes to play, be a little bit on the back foot and play on the counter and stuff. This West Ham kind of played into their hands. Like, they had United didn't have any pressure on them. And on a 6-pointer, this is a 6-pointer game, right? Because West Ham wants to get in those top 4 positions too. But now it's looking like they're probably going to let this slip, and not finish even top 6, which would be a great opportunity lost for a team like West Ham. Like, when was the last time they played European football?
Why would they slip all the way out of top 6? Why you think so?
Because Everton, Tottenham.
Liverpool is not playing very well lately.
So what?
Everton is not really playing very well lately.
They lost to Burnley, but they're not playing bad. And
West Ham has the worst fixtures. Like, they play all the main teams again going into this run-in. So they at least have to start picking up some points. They just can't be like, all right, we're not going to get anything out of these guys, and we'll try and pick some of the lower teams, because guess what? They're not playing many of the lower teams in the remaining games.
What's funny? Like, West Ham is right where they were last year, except they're in a relegation for European spots.
You mean like in terms of points?
Yeah, they're in a relegation battle.
Oh yeah.
To not get knocked out of the European spot situation. So they're always involved in some type of battle.
Wait, next game they play Arsenal at home. That's a win. Then they play Wolves and Leicester. Leicester at home. They don't have.
Leicester's up top. Go ahead.
They don't have to lose at home to Leicester. Then they play Newcastle. They don't have to lose. Then they play Chelsea at home. That's a win. Then they have Everton at home. They play Southampton at home. That's like 9-0 probably. And, not that bad.
So speaking of which, what up, Lee? Glad you could join us. Your ceiling is looking fabulous. This
is a new apartment I'm in now.
I could.
Oh wow! I can hear the echo. Yeah.
The money game. You got some money now. That's a middle class person ceiling. Oh, the T too.
I need to drink it with a pinky out, don't I?
Yeah. I mean, you're wide enough to get in the palace, so you're good. So what's going on? What do you think of this West Ham Man United game and Martin's response?
I wanted to see West Ham play with a bit more ambition in that game, to be honest. Like, I was a bit disappointed. Like, they're having such a good season, and I don't know if it was Moyes just wanting to not get embarrassed at Old Trafford by being open, but I think if they, there's a chance they could get something from the game if they actually have a go like they've done to other teams.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit disappointing just to see them do nothing. I'm glad they lost, because if they'd have got a draw, it would have been annoying.
Right. Like they came to Old Trafford with their full inferiority complex. And the way they played Liverpool and the way they played us lets me know that as good as Moyes is doing now, and some people might have some fire and remorse for letting go of Moyes for Man U, but it proves that we made the right decision. It's like, bro, you got to go for it. You need the points. You have to play this game as if you're one down from the beginning, and you have to be mature to play a game as if you down one from the beginning and not give up goals and get some. But, and that's what a real team does, and it's frustrating when we don't do it against teams and don't get a result. So, it's definitely, thanks for playing into our hands. We appreciate it, David Moyes and West Ham. So the next big game, we were saving it because we wanted you to be a part of the feast of the London Derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham. And let's talk about the game. Then we could talk about the penalty. We could talk about Aubameyang on the bench. But let's talk about the game. Martin, it's your team. What up?
Well, big game more historically than actually, because both teams are not very good at the moment. So I wouldn't say it was a big game. And it was actually a pretty bad game. It was actually a very, very bad game in terms of quality of football. There were the average team won and the terrible team lost, So pretty much that describes the game. I mean, Tottenham was playing horrific football in the first half and somehow got the lead through a wonder goal from Lamela. But the quality of football is very bad. And then when we were losing 2-1 and Lamela got the red card and we were playing 10 against 11, we actually dominated the game from that moment, which is ridiculous because that's when we started attacking the mediocre Arsenal team, which we should have done from the very beginning. And we did.
Oh, Martin, stop tapping.
And I think even Lee Dixon made like a tactical analysis in the studio showing that they didn't even press in the first half. They were just sitting back. And that tells you everything. The tactics were wrong. The strategy was bad. And it's time to move on. I don't we here, we're all fans. We all like football. We all like our teams. We like football as well. We want our teams to play good football. Tottenham is not playing good football under Mourinho this season. So I'm ready to move on from that experiment.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, I said it before.
He said it before.
He also said last week that Arsenal were a Mickey Mouse club.
Yes.
They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything in the game. Like they were.
What does that make Spurs though? Is Spurs like the Daffy Duck Club or something?
Martin, you did say last week you were going to win this game. You were mad confident.
Yeah, we should have, because the Arsenal, they proved in this game too that they nothing special really. And their best player, the only player I was afraid of, was substituted in the half.
Who, Smith Rowe?
Saka.
All right.
Yeah. So that was the only player I was actually afraid of. Arsenal didn't do nothing in the entire game, really nothing special.
No, they didn't. I agree with you. And listen, man, but I know you're a Spurs fan, but you can't expect a lot from a mid-table team. You know what I mean? A mid-table team is going to do what a mid-table team does. And sometimes it shows up, their flaws show up in a derby. Like, I don't know why they didn't attack. I don't know if they were tired from the midweek Europa League game, but Arsenal played 1-2 and they weren't tired. You just came out
Arsenal actually
flat.
played on Thursday when we play on Wednesday, so they actually had one day less of
a rest. Oh, damn. Yeah, you guys look like you played the day before this game. It's just super flat. And but the injury to Son gave you guys an opportunity. Lamela came on, scored a wonder goal. Like I didn't even know how incredible that goal was until I saw the replay. I said, "Oh shit, is that how he scored that shit?" I was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Oh, that's why you keep a Lamela around for years, even though he's injury prone, because he can do some shit like that." I said, "Oh, I get it now." But then,
technically, in this game, he was our best player.
Well, Lucas Moura was the only one that, even though you don't like him, it's funny, Martin's not a fan of a lot of players like he runs hot and cold with a lot of players. Like he's not a big Lucas Moura fan. Then he goes off on Aurier, but then gets on board with Aurier when they put in another back who plays worse. Then he's like, Bale is done. And so he was a big fan of Bale when they got him back. Hated him, then loved him the last few weeks, and then this week.
I just on that, I'm like, why is he not playing? If he's that bad, then we shouldn't get him. If he's that bad that he cannot play for Tottenham, then we should never get him. But then he started playing finally after not playing, and he played very well. So it's not that he was playing poor; he just wasn't playing. And I'm like, what's going on? If he's not playing, then Mourinho probably sees that he's not in a good shape. But
This game kind of showed why sometimes Mourinho doesn't play him. Because I think besides Son getting injured, he was like the first guy subbed out, But Arsenal attacked you guys from the beginning, and they just came out more confident. And they didn't even start Aubameyang. Arsenal played like they had Aubameyang in the game. And he was sitting in the stands watching the game. Aubameyang played harder than you guys did in the first half, and he was sitting in the stands. I feel like Arteta as a coach, like I think Aubameyang showing up late for whatever meeting he showed up late for, and the coach saying sometimes bad things make good things happen, and the coach saying, "Hey Aubameyang, I'm gonna penalize you. I'm gonna punish you. I'm gonna put you on the bench." That kind of lit a fire under the rest of the Arsenal players. It gave them a reason to step up to this game, knowing that their coach is not fucking around, to bench their captain and best player. Makes you go out there and like, oh, we better do some shit because this guy's not fucking around. And I think Aubameyang messing up worked against you guys, where normally something like that would have helped you guys. But the young players.
I think it actually made a difference. And plus, Aubameyang played more bad games than good games this season. So
because his mother was sick, but his mother's better now. Since his mother's been better, he's been good. There's a direct graph of Aubameyang mother sick, Aubameyang no goal. Aubameyang mother get better, Aubameyang score goals. His mom is better now. He would have went off on you guys.
No, I don't value him that much. For me, Saka is a special player now.
Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Thierry, listen, they have a young. It's not even a spine because of where their positions are, but Arsenal got some young kids. They just need to get the right people to join the team, and in a few years from now, say 2 seasons from now, if I don't know if Arteta's going to do it, but if they get the right players, they got a good spine. Lee, what you got? Lee?
Let me finish. I see the half of the team.
Well, just hold that. Let Lee jump in.
All right.
I think I agree with you there, but I think they're still so vulnerable at the back, and that was what was disappointing, that Spurs didn't really go at them, because that's where their weakness is. I don't know. It's typical Mourinho to be too concerned about going forward too much, because what if they hit us on the counter or something? But you can't. He plays games like he's scared, and that's not the way to do it, especially against Arsenal. There, you need to have a go at them. But yeah, I mean, like you say, Arsenal are building a good core, and I think Arteta, if they are patient with him, I think he could be the person to get it. But it isn't going to come quickly. They're not going to be good all the time this season. Probably next season they're going to be average as well, apart from the odd good games. And like you say, it could be 2 seasons. If they've got that patience, then great. If not, then we'll see what happens. But I mean, the players need patience as well, because they could, if Saka plays the way he has been, he'll be off to Man City or something one day probably. So in 2 seasons, he might not be there. Smith Rowe might not be there if they're not getting in Europe and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but a good win for them.
Good one. Neil, what you got?
I mean, I think Arsenal's biggest problem right now is this Odegaard kid is looking too good, which means Madrid's gonna get him back. They want him to fall in that sweet spot where he's still doing stuff but not doing enough. So
you think Arteta's gonna say, "Hey, next game, chill"?
Yeah, just to yank him off after 60 minutes or something. Don't let him get too much into the game. Because he can't be like, if he turns out to be the best player at Arsenal by the end of the season, which isn't really unrealistic.
It is, because Saka is much better.
Yeah, Saka is just born with this knowledge of like.
Yeah, but like it's not like Saka is world class that you can't get past him. You know,
I think he will be.
Run of games, yeah, maybe, yeah, but not right now. And I think that's where the problem is right now. Like if I see Spurs versus Arsenal, you know, sometimes with Mourinho, and I had that feeling at Chelsea too. I don't know, probably you felt that when you was at Manchester. Riches can sometimes be lost on this guy. Like he has, I mean, in Bale, Son, and Kane, you have three of the best attackers in the league. Like, why do you not have a system that gets the best out of these guys week in, week out? I mean, you're not playing against the best defense in Europe. You're playing against Arsenal, which is shown time and again that you put them under pressure, they are going to crumble. And almost, how long did it take? I think except the last 15 minutes and you saw the last 15 was the most funny part, because they didn't even, Spurs put like the barest of pressure and Arsenal were panicking all over the place. They could have conceded 2 or 3 in that 15 minutes period. Like imagine if they had started doing that, right at the beginning of the game. And you have the player, like you have these experienced players who can take the pressure of, dealing with these situations. Why don't you just trust them a little bit more?
Yeah, one second, Martin. Then it's all about you. Didn't Mourinho sell David Luiz?
To PSG?
Yeah.
No. Well,
I think he bought
yeah,
him.
Maybe he did.
Who bought him? Who bought him for the second time? Who bought him?
But somebody got him back the second time.
Conte got him back the second time.
So then Mourinho sold him. Why wouldn't you press the player you sold? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you press the player you sold? You know why you sold him. You know what I mean? Like, you know his flaws. You know that you didn't let him go because you thought he was great. You sold him, got some money because you was like, I don't need this guy. So like, attack this old guy who's prone to make mistakes if you put him under pressure. And you didn't, and you made him have an amazing game. But Martin, what you was gonna say? Sorry.
I listened to Mourinho right before the podcast. I actually listened to Mourinho post game talk with the media, and he obviously, like he likes to do, he spin the whole story. Made it about the mistake of Oliver, of the referee, which I disagree. I think it was a mistake. I think the penalty was correct, and it's not the first penalty Davinson Sanchez conceded. And here is another problem. Like, do you play Dyer or Sanchez? It's like how you wanna die, with a bullet or with a knife. Because I remember even in the Man U game, he gave up the penalty. You guys were actually leading 1-0 in that game. And who fouled in the penalty box? Sanchez. He has a tendency of making fouls in the penalty box, unnecessary fouls. And
I thought Lamela just did the wind up. He winded up Martial to get the red card. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was so Martin, do you think that was a penalty?
Yeah.
All right. So it's weird because I watched Martin Keown say it wasn't a penalty. I watched Ian Wright say it wasn't a penalty. And then when I was watching, I was like, it's not a penalty. But then I was like, you know what? It is a penalty, because I watched it again and the ball didn't go out of bounds. So if the player is not cleared off his feet, he can get that ball and it's still a dangerous situation. But if he's cleared off his feet, then he has no chance to get that ball. So then it should be a penalty. So I would love to say it wasn't a penalty, but actually it was, because even today I saw a Real Madrid player run into a Atalanta player, and even though another Atalanta player got the ball, they called a foul on the Real Madrid player. And this was a play right outside Atalanta's box. And I was like, so the other player I said, what's the difference between this and that play? You know what I mean? It's like if a player can't receive a 1-2 or recover and get a ball so he can get another shot, then it's kind of like a penalty. Lee, what you think? A penalty or no?
I think it was just about a penalty, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where you can make a case for it not being, but for me, it's more a penalty than not a penalty. So in that case, I'd give it.
Yeah, dude whiffed it, but like based on the fact that he couldn't recover, it's a penalty. What do you think?
Well, I guess, I mean, it wouldn't have been a penalty if he had controlled it. So it's really just how bad he controlled the ball that got them the penalty. But you still go by the book. It's still a penalty because, you know, as you said, that the ball was still in play. He got rid of the guy.
All right. Let's move on to Leicester versus Sheffield. And Leicester put it on Sheffield.
Boy.
And they scored 5 goals. And you're a caretaker coach, and you're taking over for Chris Wilder. And to me, you know, Chris Wilder's had some crazy speeches, post-game speeches. And NBC analysts were like, hey, you're going to lose your team if you say these things about the players. Like in one post-game speech 2 weeks ago, he intimated that he wanted some of the players gone. They're going to be gone at the end of the season, and he wished they'd gone now. And they felt like that would hurt the team by him saying stuff like that. But I feel like based on this result, after he got fired, I feel like the team was actually with him. And this 5-0 score is almost like a protest to say, why did you fire our coach? This is what happens when you get rid of our dude. Like, this is how we play. Like, there's no 5-0 with Chris Wilder here. That score ain't happening. Even though Leicester did their thing. I want to talk about Iheanacho afterwards, but Lee, what you got?
Well, it's a weird one with Sheffield United. There was obviously some problems there behind the scenes. I've heard stories that like they said he was going to have to work with a director of football next season. Happy about that. And I mean, I think he needed something like that because he spent a lot of money on some real rubbish. He's been buying strikers for like 20 million. They've not been scoring goals. Like, Brewster's not scoring, McBurney's not scoring. Like, these are expensive players. So I think maybe he needed that guidance because he's shown this season that he's a little bit one-dimensional. He's not fully Premier League kind of savvy like some managers are.
Right.
So I think he needed that help potentially, and he's obviously a little bit old school in terms of he wants to be the manager, he wants to control everything. So it's a shame because he's done such amazing things at the club. But yeah, it was a bad look for them. I think the players are probably just a bit shaken by it all happening because he's been there for so long, and a lot of the players have been there for so long, and he bought all of them. So I think, they were probably just a bit rattled by that, and Leicester took full advantage. I mean, credit to them. They needed that because it keeps the pressure on you guys a little bit. Yeah. But
that was like the worst result of the weekend. Like, every result played into our favor except that one as a Man U fan. Neil, what you say about...
So was it, Lee, even I heard the stuff over the director of football stuff, but was it like things completely broke apart with the relations between, I guess, the owner and...
Yeah, apparently him and the owner they kept growing further apart in their sort of vision for the club, and because
I'm surprised why it happened in the middle of the season. Like, nothing's gonna have changed between now and the end of the season.
Oh yeah, they're not staying up. They're as good as down. So I think it just got too much.
I heard a part of the problem was, what's the name of that the forward that they bought? Brewster. And who's he from? Ex-Chelsea player, ex-Liverpool?
Liverpool. Yeah.
And Brewster hasn't scored a game all season.
Yeah. And they're £23 million.
Right.
He's ex-Chelsea too, but we're not claiming him until he starts doing anything. So he was a Chelsea when he was a kid. So I will start claiming him when he does something.
That's smart. Martin, what you going to say about Chris Wilder
Absolutely.
and Sheffield.
And bad karma. The same with Bournemouth and Eddie Howe last year. You don't do those things. He built this team. He brought them from League One. He pretty much conquered the league with a League One roster. He didn't have many good players. It was by far the worst squad in the league. And finally, the reality caught up with him. You know, he couldn't get any more from those players because those are League One players. Maybe some of them are Championship players, but this is not the team to finish top 10 in the league. There was a miracle last year what he pulled off with this group. And to be fired after that only like 7-8 months, I mean, it's ridiculous. And it shows that, you know, lack of loyalty and lack of class in some ownership groups. And listen, two things. First of all, you don't do that kind of stuff. It's a bad karma. It will end up very bad for Sheffield United. And they actually didn't play that bad in the last 2 months. They, I think, won 3 games in the last 2 months. So they were very bad in the first 3 months, but lately they weren't that bad. Right. Second thing, if he had a problem in the locker room, the player would have responded against Leicester City. But clearly, they didn't respond. So clearly, it looks good for Wilder in terms of that the players were bummed out by him, you know, being fired and leaving, and that was the response, losing 5-0.
Here's the crazy thing. I think at some point he will be back as the coach at Sheffield. I feel like it's like a marriage growing apart, and the parents fought, and then the kids, who are the players, have to sit there and watch it. I think Chris Wilder did make some mistakes, and he was given some chances. And he has to like take a second to be like, you know what, I could have been cooler at this moment. They were kind of right. And if he does that, and you know, if he wants to come home, and they can repair things, shit, he might be all right. He might be back there, and he might be back up with Sheffield later on with the director of football. We'll see. But
if it is true that he had a problem with the whole director of football thing, I think that's the kind of thing that clubs will look at it and go, you know, we don't really want this guy, because I think that's a model that all clubs are moving towards. Even Burnley has. Like, if Sean Dyche can be okay.
Even Man United just got a director of football.
Yeah, I know. You guys moved into the 21st century last week. But like, if Sean Dyche can work with a director of football, come on, you know.
I remember, by the way, and that's a link between you two guys. There was the guy in the 90s, Peter Kenyon, right?
Yeah.
And you took him from Man U. You stole him from Man U, right? When Mourinho came. When Abramovich came, you stole him from Man U. I remember that. He was recognized as the best sporting director in the Premier League.
Yeah, we've had a lot of director of football, but we never really liked calling them director of football. Like I
think Kenya was more like an exec, though, wasn't he, rather than
like a CEO. Yeah,
like very hands-on. He was very hands-on. Exactly.
Yeah, I think the real director of football we had was Michael Emenalo, and he was there for a while, and then there's nobody, and now it's pretty much Czech who's doing those duties.
He's the one that bought the German league.
yeah, he has.
He's the one that went shopping like a rich housewife in the Bundesliga and came back.
Dude knows like around 7 or 8 languages. So you know, you just like send him out, get this guy from Norway, get this. We got some kids too from different places.
Yeah, our director of football, he was responsible. It's so funny. He's responsible for getting Ahmad and Jibril. So once Ahmad scored, there's like, you know what?
Let's announce him.
You're director of football. You went and got us this kid from Atalanta who's only played 5 hours of football, but he scored in a Europa League game. So
what does this mean? Like, fans can't chant Woodward out anymore? Like, can't get that hashtag trending anymore?
I mean, fans are amazing. They can do anything they want.
They'll have to learn a new name now.
By the way, speaking about directors of football, I have to ask you, Lee, because I forgot many times, and I was about to ask you that. Was it at Southampton, the guy who faked his CV and he wasn't even a professional player and he played one Premier League game and he like fooled everyone?
This is in the 90s, Ali Dyer.
Yeah.
Ali Dyer.
Yeah, he claimed to be George Ware's cousin.
Yeah.
And they subbed him on in a game and then subbed him back off in a game.
Because he lied, right? He made up his CV, yeah.
Well, what about training? Did they see him in training?
They saw him in like one training session or something.
Hilarious.
But they thought he was maybe just like acclimatizing or something. It was Graham Souness.
Graham Souness, yeah. It's a pretty famous guy, yeah.
Yeah, great job, Graham Souness. Amazing.
He's recognized the worst signing in the history of English football, yeah. Because he was a professional player. And that was always a story I wanted to ask you about, because it's one of those stories that you don't believe it ever happened, but it did actually.
Yeah, it happened to Southampton, all right. Speaking of Southampton, what happened against Brighton Hove, Lee? What's the deal?
Like all season, Brighton have been missing chances and going ahead in games and then throwing the leads away. Mm-hmm. And this week happened to be the week when they took their chances and held on to their lead, which is typical. But like we were just sloppy. Like the first goal that Lewis Dunk scores, the header. Lewis Dunk is 6'4".
Yeah.
And we had Ryan Bertrand marking him. Ryan Bertrand is 5'10".
Damn.
So I know Brighton have a few big guys, but
where was Vestergaard?
Yeah, he's one of the biggest, Lewis Dunk. So why isn't someone?
Where was Vestergaard? He didn't play for you that.
They played. He was marking someone else. They've got a few big guys. Like Brighton have got quite a big team, but we still should have enough players to not have Ryan Bertrand marking their best header of the ball. Which, to me just felt stupid. And like first half was a good game. Like we were attacking them, they were attacking us. We scored our goal. Che Adams has got 3 and 3 now. He's on form. He's just declared to play for Scotland today.
Yeah, saw that.
Yeah, he's found a grandmother or something from Scotland and getting himself to the Euros. But yeah, like first half was good, and then second half we just didn't have anything. They scored their goal, and we never looked like really getting back in it. We put the pressure on, but we didn't make many good chances. It is disappointing, but I mean the way I look at it, we've got 9 games.
Let me ask you this, because obviously I'm not happy with our season, but it looks like you're gonna be in the relegation battle.
Nah, we're safe.
Oh, really?
We're on 33 points. We've got 9 games left. We need 2 more wins. Yeah, Newcastle will be the team that get dragged in. If anyone, we'll be okay. It's not. It's a poor season. Considering where we were.
7 points ahead of Fulham, right? Was it 7?
Yeah, I think so.
7 points. Yeah.
Martin, you're trying to say Lee's team is in a relegation battle, but you want his coach. You still want his coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Sure.
If say they get,
he's trying to will us down, isn't he?
Yeah. Say they get relegated. You want a relegated coach to coach Tottenham?
Why not? It worked before with Pochettino. So.
Pochettino never got relegated.
Yeah, he never.
No, but I mean, we from Southampton. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but he never got.
Well, he got. To be fair, he got relegated at Espanyol, I think.
Oh.
I'm trying to think.
But yeah, we were comfortably like an 8th place team when he left.
Right.
Now I get it why Martin's been so much on the Hudson train, because Southampton.
Yeah, he thinks he's getting another Pochettino from.
Yeah.
It's only 7 points. Your guys only 7 points ahead of Fulham. That's doable. 7 points, not that much.
Yeah, it's doable.
I think Newcastle will be the team that get dragged in. Rather than us.
Well, Newcastle's officially in. They're only 2 points ahead. Like, if you're the next team from the bottom, you're in a relegation battle. Like, there is no question. They opened the letter
and
read it and filled out the form and said, "Yeah, we're coming to this wedding. So get our table." And we just a matter of how long they're going to stay at this party. But they're in. Even Burnley is. Brighton Hove is kind of in because they're only 1 point ahead of Newcastle. So there's 3 teams. There's 3 teams before
we get to Southampton.
Southampton.
Lee, I have your schedule right now. So those are the games you're gonna play. You're playing Burnley the next game, and if you lose to Burnley, the next game. You're officially in big trouble. Then you play at West Brom. That's an important game. Then you play Crystal Palace. So if you get 7 points out of those 3 games, you should be fine. But if not, here's what's happening in May. You play Leicester, then you play Liverpool. 2 very tough games. And then you play Fulham right after that. So that could be like do or die.
I'm happy with those fixtures though. Like we need 2 wins to hit 39, which is, people say 40 points, 39 will be enough this season. We need 2 wins out of that group, and I think we can get that. And even with the couple of harder games, we actually play better against the big teams than we do against the small teams. We've beaten Liverpool already this season.
But the next game will be Burnley. That's the game you cannot lose.
No, we can lose that and stay up still. If we beat Palace and Fulham, that's 2 wins. Losing to Burnley won't matter.
To put it on a 1 game.
Two wins, and we're good. We'll get that out of 9 games.
And also, I feel like the relegation battle is slightly different from the top 4, top 6 battle. Like a 5-point gap does not probably mean a lot in a top 4, top 6 battle, because even the contenders have the ability to like go on the run. But in a relegation battle, a 5-point difference is almost like a 10-point difference, because it's not like Fulham's going to go on the run either. So it's a 5 points, probably a 5-game head start.
Yeah. Damn, I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it is now. I wonder if it was about. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. But so Crystal Palace beats. I forgot who. Let me see who they beat. But I want to get to the Zaha.
Yeah,
West Brom.
They beat West Brom, and so they win 1-0. Big deal. But I guess the bigger deal in the game is the fact that Zaha has decided. Wilfried Zaha decided he's not going to take the knee anymore, and I think I have the article about what he said why. But what do you guys think about Wilfried Zaha, a black player, deciding not to take the knee anymore before football games?
Well, it's more important. Before we have our opinions, it's just more important to say the context. How he described it. He says that it became just a ceremony without anything behind it. So if you believe that it's just a gesture that doesn't mean anything, then it's a different interpretation. I don't think that way. I think it still matters, because you keep doing this, you keep send the message. But he pretty much said that the message is not that the gesture is just a pure gesture, has no, it's meaningless, has nothing behind it. And if someone takes that interpretation, that's a different mindset, of course. But please go.
Yeah.
Well, it was last season, Les Ferdinand, the ex-Tottenham striker and QPR striker. He's the director of football at QPR now in the Championship, and he said last season, so not even this season, last season, he stopped QPR from doing it because he said that it's the same as that. He said it's just a gesture. He says meaningful changes need to be made, and this is just, it's empty. Is his saying. Like at first it was powerful when it first happened, but now it's like it's before every game, and yeah, like Zaha says, it's just ceremonial. It's not like what is it actually achieving. And I don't think anyone disagrees with the cause, but it's almost become like if it happens every single week, I think every time it happens, it loses some of its impact now. And that was what Les Ferdinand said. He told QPR to stop doing it, and he made a very good case for that. And I sort of agree with Zaha as well. Like, I don't think people are paying attention to it anymore. Maybe when something like this happens, when a player highlights it, there's a bit more attention back on it. But I don't understand what it's achieving though, because I know it's being shown, but I feel like the more it's shown, people just accept that it's part of the thing and don't think about it because it's automatic now.
Yeah, but the highlights, you start watching the highlights. They always start with that, So it's like repeating the message. Sometimes it's like a mantra. I'm actually big into meditation and stuff, and I'm repeating mantras over and over again, for certain things. So I actually think it's good when you repeat the message over and over again, because it stays in people's head.
It's a reminder.
Meaningless message.
But what changes have been made?
But
off the back of it?
What changes haven't been made? Who's to say that it's not changing stuff? Like Wilfred Zaha is assuming that his kneeling, because he can't see the tangible benefits of it, he's assuming that it's not doing anything, but he actually could be wrong. It could be doing stuff. Like, listen,
what's happening online though? Players are getting so much abuse online.
Yes, they are. But it's like, you ever take medicine for like a pimple or some shit like that? Your pimples actually get worse, and the stuff starts coming out of it, and your face, or you get a facial, everything looks worse until it clears up, right? So this is what the kneeling does. Like Martin said, it's a mantra, and it reminds people that we're not going to stop fighting until the change is done. And you keep doing it, and they make the statement before. It's not like every time somebody dies, right before a game, they have a moment of silence, and they do it for every person that dies. You can't even remember the name of the person that dies. You just know they had a moment of silence. You just, like, racism ain't going to stop. So why should the fight against racism, even though it's symbolic, stop? You know what I mean? So I think you keep the symbolism going. I agree with what he said about more education in schools. I can hear somebody's radio or something going. Like, I can hear like something playing in the background. So I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe it's me. Who was it? All right. So I feel like what he said about education in schools and social media sites, like I'm more for changing the curriculum in schools to be more inclusive and to make people understand all the other races more. I'm more for that, but to just stop, like, to not do anything, because here's the thing, like, racism, we all can help racism, right? It's not like one person is going to step up and change racism. Like Martin Luther King is an example of one person. But then he got everybody to follow him. Everybody didn't follow him. Like, he's the focal point. But if everybody didn't follow him and join him, he would have been nothing. So it's like, you have to do whatever you can do to change it, because the people who are racist are doing everything they can do not to change it. So Zaha ain't got a solution. Like, what is the big deal? It's just a knee. And it feels like, I like Zaha, but he's always sometimes selfish as a player. And this is like selfish because he can't say it didn't do anything. Like, it's not making people more racist. You know what I mean? Like, the people who are racist, they're racist. But it might be like hitting some people like, let's stop this. But you're not going to see those people, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. So,
what's also happening sometimes, in the social media times, that sometimes people just want to be different for no reason, just want to show that they are original, that they're like big thinkers, and they do gesture like that for attention in a way, and I feel that's what it was.
But based on the type of player he is, I lean on that. I'll go towards that direction too. Go ahead, Neil.
I mean, this is a tough one, right? Because I think because I heard what he said about a month back before he even did this. He was on the Judy podcast, and he talked about this issue. And I think one of the reasons why this is happening is the whole taking the knee thing, right? It came from an American context, with what Colin Kaepernick started as an athlete, at least. I think some players, and maybe there needs to be more education on that, lack that context of where this particular movement, I mean, the anti-racism movement, everybody knows a lot about that. But this particular movement, the context of it, the origins of it, why it was, why certain athletes did what they did. Because if you listen to what Zaha says, he's likening it to the fact that, why should, just because, others are, this is a problem. Like, I didn't create the problem, right? I'm a victim of the problem. Why should I have to bend down? Like, I'll stand tall. So, it's very easy to to understand that context, but I don't know if it's that easy if you're not from the place where, where this thing started, even though you might be experiencing, the ills of the same phenomena. And when you listen to what he says, I feel it's understandable from his point of view. But the danger with what he did is that, and I've seen this online too, a lot of folks who are actually have these, quote unquote racist mindsets, they're going to look at this as an example and say, hey, you know what? If a white guy did that, because when Burnley played a game, they booed the kneeling of the kneeling before the game. Probably, I think they flew a plane with some sort of All Lives Matter banner.
Yeah,
they'd be like, they're going to draw this false equivalence, and racist people, racist movements know how to draw false equivalences like no other, and they're going to use something like this and say, you know what? If a white guy did that, somebody who's probably not on board with with the liberal or a progressive or a woke movement, he would have had a lot of backlash, and nobody would have been understanding of his context. So why are we, why is Zaha allowed to do that? Why is somebody else not allowed to do that? I think that's the danger where I feel Zaha kind of is not thinking of the wider meaning of this symbolism.
Yeah, and Lee, you wanted to say something. I saw you wanted to say something else. Or
yeah, I think it will be really interesting to see the impact when the stadiums are full again, because this has only ever been done in either empty stadiums or stadiums with 2,000 people. So I think, it'd be interesting to see what happens when it's a full 40,000, 30,000, 50,000, whatever, to see the effect then. But I can see the argument, and I think Les Ferdinand's argument was actually better than Zaha's for it. He was actually a lot more eloquent, and he's been at the forefront of the fight against racism in football for a long time. He's seen it, and that's my thing. It's is it having an impact, or is it being done to make the organisers of the Premier League feel like they're fighting it when they're not really doing much else?
Right. You know what won't have an impact? Doing nothing. You know what I mean? So is Zaha, if he's in Champions League, is he going to rip off the respect band off his arm and not wear that, or roll up the part of the sleeve that says respect? Is he going to do and say it's not doing anything? If everybody's like, this is not doing anything, then nothing will get done, and something needs to be done. And I'm not bashing him. I just disagree with him. I disagree with Les Ferdinand, no matter how eloquent he is, because the parts I agree with Ferdinand and Zaha is that, these other entities like education and stuff have to kick in their part. But if all you have to do is kneel in unity and show unity with white players, and kids watch that growing up, you know what I mean? Where they're in homes where their parents are against that type of stuff, it'll create that question in their head of like there's a white guy, an Asian guy, or whatever race person kneeling in unity against racism. Yeah, it's symbolic. You hope you do more, but why not do? Everybody does something where they can, no matter how little it is. It all adds up to a big thing. You know what I mean? So you need symbolism sometimes. You need the mantra, like Martin would say. And yeah,
I think I heard Paul Merson say that his kid takes a knee in the backyard, so it is making a difference,
Yeah.
whether you can see it right in front of you or not.
yeah, you like Lee, like when you start doing stand up, you start out, you might not be that good, but then you go over your jokes and you go over your notes and you perform. You might have an even worse set, but it doesn't tell you this is not working. You know what I mean? You just keep doing it. It's like Colin Kaepernick did it here.
It took a long time.
It took a long time
for it to become mainstream.
But it went mainstream and it worked. So how is Zaha going to tell me this shit don't work? He's got the entire continent. He's got another country kneeling. How did it not work?
Well, let me tell you this: he's not a martyr, Zaha, for sure. No. That discussion we can end. He's not going to be another Kaepernick, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. But I always try to look for logic, even in what he's saying. Where is the logic? Like what's supposed to be working different in his opinion, right? Like what were his expectations? That what would happen, he thinks, from that. It is a gesture. That's all it is. It is a gesture. Obviously, the changes will be made by legislation, by governments. That's where the changes are made. This is the gesture, but you need gestures because they're also putting pressures. And it's a TV time because they're always showing on TV.
Yeah. You as much positive shit that you need people to see, because there's not a lot of positive stuff on TV. So if you can be a part of the positivity on a broadcast platform, fuck it. Join in. It's about unity, right? So he's not even just bowing for you, but even for the white guy who's bowing with you. Now white guys cannot bow in unity and say, Zaha ain't doing it, so why should I do it? And then the whole thing breaks up. And then it's like one thread pulls the whole jacket apart. Now nobody's kneeling and we forget about it. And we go back into the times where we were before, like, because you don't want to be patient. I don't get, yeah, that's all. Thank you, Zaha. Appreciate you. Leeds versus Chelsea, 0-0. That's kind of the score I was looking for. The only thing that could have been better is if Leeds had won. Neil, explain yourself, bro.
I mean, it was, I thought like the last game we played versus Everton was finally the first good attacking game we've had under Tuchel. Mm-hmm. But this one kind of took us 2 steps back. Mm-hmm. It's really not that different, this game, as compared to a lot of games we've played of late. It's just that because we've been surviving on a lot of games through a wonder goal or a penalty, that's just not sustainable. So I don't think many Chelsea fans are that bothered about it because, end of the season, it's all about survival. So, but going forward, I don't think we can get anywhere playing this kind of a style.
Forward is a funny word for you to use because that's where your problem is.
Yeah. Because it's not even like we are creating a big volume of chances. And Tuchel kind of admits that, which is one reason why I'm pretty hopeful, because it's not like he's completely blind to this issue. He keeps saying, we are only creating half chances. And we know in this league, there are defenses who can take care of them. So, he's aware of the issue, but it's been a while now. Like, we got to get a run of really good games that we play on the front foot.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, defensively we had Mendy had a couple of big saves to come up with, and that's the thing. Like, if you play a game that's that tight, it's you're either depending on a worldly goal or a worldly save. We got the worldly save this time, so it's still a draw. No harm done. If you look at it, the end of the week, we actually gained a point on the people who are behind us because Everton lost, West Ham lost, Spurs lost. Mm-hmm. So overall, not a bad week. We still have the unbeaten run going, but Yeah, I can't say that I'm happy with what I'm seeing. With the team in an attacking sense.
Anybody else want to pitch in on Neil's team that's limping?
Well, he didn't play a single striker. He didn't play. He played Havertz, who disappointed again. He had some chances that he didn't score, especially one when he had so much space and for no reason he took another touch and it kind of took himself out of the position to score. And that was very bizarre situation because he had all he had to do was just to put the ball in the corner and that's it. And then it would be 1-0 and probably a win. Disappointing. Offensively disappointing again. I mean, Tuchel definitely improved the team defensively. The team is organized. I hate to say it, if Werner doesn't pay off soon, I mean, you guys might need to buy a striker. It really looks he might.
Hilarious.
I think we are probably going to be in the market for one.
Go ahead, Lee. What you got on Chelsea?
I thought it was quite a good game to watch for a 0-0. Like I think there could have been goals. It wasn't like a boring 0-0.
From Leeds side,
But yeah, I mean, Tuchel I think he's just assessing things. It'd be interesting to see next season whether they still play the same system with the wing backs or whether he brings in a system that has wingers, because previously he's been a sort of 4-2-3-1 kind of guy, 4-3-3 kind of guy when he was at Dortmund, when he was at PSG as well. So I don't know if he's just thought that this current system and current style can get what he needs right now for the rest of the season, and then he'll change things up next season and they'll be harder to read because people will think he's going to play like this. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting shake-up, I think, in the summer to see who he values, who he wants to keep around and who he thinks he needs to move on. But I think a new centre forward for sure, like you say, and would that be Giroud or someone that makes way to free up that space for that, or even Abraham if he's not going to be guaranteed a starter. I think both him and Giroud need to both play somewhere where they're going to be the main man, number 9 each week. Both at the stages they're at in their career. Abraham needs it for his development and Giroud needs it to maximise his final years, I think. Me and
Jesus Trejo, there's something we say when something doesn't work out. And so what happened? Well, there's a lot of moving parts. Chelsea got a ton of moving parts, you know what I mean? And to expect everything to be in place when a coach comes in mid-season and the only thing newer than him are most of the players, you know what I mean? It's like he did the smart thing. Let me straighten the defense out. Let's stop leaking goals. And then we can build from there. I think next season, I think like Werner is going to calm down. Havertz is going to calm down. I don't think you need to buy a forward. And you have Abraham. Abraham is like Giroud, except he's black, he's more mobile, and he's taller. And he needs more experience in the Premier League. And I think when you have him, you don't even need a Giroud, but you do have a Giroud. And you have backup wing backs or full backs on each side. You have the young ones, and then you have the old ones to put experience. Sometimes we need more experience than youth. And you have midfielders. The thing you probably need more than a forward is the right type of midfielder for the system that you're playing, because it feels like that's what you don't have. I wouldn't go trying to buy a forward when you have a connective issue. Like even you don't like personally the midfielders that you got. So I think that's where you need to focus more. And just next season, man, just patience. Don't panic. Don't blow shit up. Don't splash down money and get a fine, for overspending. Like you kind of guys are good at that. Just it's like there's so much impatience in professional football. It bewilders me.
I think the whole issue about this is the one thing you touched upon, that he came in and fixed the defense. He did do that, but I feel like he's gone overkill now, because it wasn't that like we were the really bad defense. It was only the last 4 games under Lampard where we leaked a lot of goals. But before that, we had a run of 17 games with just about 6 or 7 goals conceded. And so you're trying to fix something that was an issue for not really a very long. I think since Mendy came in, Silva came in, we kind of already did fix our major issues with the defense. So he's gone overkill now. We've conceded like 2 goals in about 10 games right now, and one of them was an own goal, which is great. But then, how does it really benefit if you've compromised completely on the attacking side of the game? Like, we used to be a team that would create a lot and had problems with finishing. Now we are not even like creating a lot, and we're trying out new formations in the forward line, 2 behind 1 or 1 behind 2 every game. Fullbacks as wingbacks or wingers as wingbacks every game. So there's a lot of flux, and that just proves the fact that even Thomas Tuchel knows that he hasn't found the answer yet to our issues up front. But luckily, like as I said, like the teams behind us fell away even further. So unless Spurs or Liverpool can get a run going, I think we'll be fine top 4. But doesn't mean that the issue there isn't like a really glaring issue that doesn't exist.
I don't think he overfixed your defense. Like, if you can't score, like you said, don't concede. That's very important. And if you look at just the sample size of the 4 games before Lampard get fired, then that's too small. If you look at the sample size of the beginning of the season before the 4 games, when Chelsea gave up a lot of goals, that's too small. I'm thinking about that's the same people from last year when your defense, Chelsea would just lose games and give up goals.
No, but that carried on even this season till it's not the same people. That carried on even this season.
Right.
Till the day Mendy walked in through the door. It's literally a digital difference between Kepa and Mendy.
Yeah.
So we just needed to, and obviously Silva with his leadership helped. But yeah, I don't really feel, and what he's doing right now with a back 3 and double 6s, it's kind of like we're using too many players who are not affecting the game. I feel you can do one or the other. You don't really need to.
So you want more chances with the same amount of goals? Because before you were letting in goals. You were letting in more goals. You created more chances, but still the same amount of goals. Now you have less chances, more points, less chances, same amount of goals, more points right now.
No, we don't have the same order. We have drastically less goals right now.
But more points.
Goals scored. More points, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's sustainable. It's fine for this season.
Yeah, for this season. That's what I'm saying.
Even like if one of these teams were putting any pressure on us, we would not be in the top 4 because we are just literally depending on the odd penalty here and the wonder strike here, like the Giroud goal versus Atletico Madrid. The Aspilicueta making a crazy run from the back of the line and smashing one through the top rope. Those things happen like once a season, I don't think that's sustainable. So you got to like get your best players, attacking players, in a lot of positions to score.
Next season, when he has a training camp, you can talk to them next season. Right now, because also you have to look at the league, and a problem with all the teams, even Manchester Man City in the beginning of the season, was everybody's defense was leaky. And the reason why those teams aren't catching up behind you is because they didn't fix their defense. And that's why you got 1 point today. You got to this weekend. You got to distance yourself from all the teams that didn't fix their defense. You know what I mean? So it's going to add up to the end of the season to a Champions League spot.
So Neil, this is your schedule. The next game is a 100% loss. You play Sheffield United at home.
New manager bounce.
And if you don't think it's a loss, ask Ian. That's something about.
I really want one of these games to be like a
West Brom at home.
4-0, 5-0 thrashing.
So you play two worst teams in the league at home in your next two games. I mean, yeah, you look good. You look good.
Martin, I forgot where you are. Where's Spurs in the table?
I don't know.
They're under the table.
Aren't you guys in a relegation battle? Isn't Spurs in a relegation battle?
The guy on the window. No, you play Sheffield United, West Brom, Crystal Palace, and Brighton in your next 4 games. So you have to.
Sheffield is in the FA Cup. Sheffield is the FA Cup quarterfinals, and but we have a good run of games before we meet, I think, Arsenal or Man City near the end of the season.
Yeah, but you play Arsenal at home. That's a win. That's an easy win. Then you play Leicester at home too. The City game away, they might be already preparing for Champions League final or whatever, and save their best players. I mean, you're good.
Have you seen Man City's bench? It's their best players. They have a squad where it doesn't matter who they start. The 10 players on the field, it don't matter. The 10 players on the bench, it's the same dudes.
Yeah.
Same dudes. The only team that could do that. Let's see what else we got to cover. Liverpool had a win against Wolves. 1-0. Jota is back and he scored against his old team. He celebrated a little bit too much for me. It was kind of weird. It's like you can tell he's really into just him. And whoever he's with, that's who he fucks with. He doesn't care if he hurts all his Portuguese teammates and the country.
He scored against his own country, yeah?
Yeah, he scored against his own country and celebrates while he's still a member of his own country's team. So that was pretty weird. We're going to do some Champions League, but I just want to do an argument with Martin real quick. I don't know if anybody was here and remembers me and Martin when Maradona died. This might have been a conversation me and Martin had on the phone, but I'm not sure. But Martin, who's your favorite player? Don't change it now.
Maradona. This is going to be like that, I think, forever.
So who?
Maradona.
And I told you Pele. And then you said why? And I said because he won 3 World Cups. I mean, what'd you tell me?
You said Messi. No,
I never say Messi. I said Messi is the best player probably ever. But my favorite player, and my player that I'd rank above Messi in certain things is Pele because he accomplished more. Did
you see the documentary? Is that what is coming up?
Yeah, because I just watched the documentary because this is what Martin did. He's like, I just said his name and his name is Maradona is better. Yeah. He said Pele only played in really one World Cup. He said, and I was like, so then when I watch the doc, I see what actually really happened because I studied Pele when I was a kid, but all that information leaves you. So I couldn't defend Pele better when Martin was saying it at the time. But when Martin wants to win an argument, he'll bring down the accomplishments of the person who he's competing against. And in that case, he's like, Maradona won a World Cup, and I said, so did Pele. When he's 17 years old, he scored goals in the final. He scored goals in the games leading up to the final, in the first one. In the second one, yes, he scored in the first game, I think, then got injured in the second game. But in the 4th World Cup that he was in, he scored in the opening games, in the some qualifying rounds. Yes, there were some other players that played like Garincha. Was it? I forgot. Garincha. And but in the final against Italy, he scored 1 goal and had 2 assists. Like no joke assists. It's like he's better than Maradona. Yeah.
I was the same.
So this is the argument that I believe back then on the phone, and I think the documentary actually kind of proves my theory. So he won the first World Cup. He was the best player. Then in 1962, he got injured in the second game, and Garincha carried the team to the World Cup.
All right.
So he didn't really contribute that much in the second World Cup.
Not his fault.
third World Cup, he was on the field and they got eliminated very early in the tournament. They did it.
No, Martin. He was fouled out of the game. He's so good that when he got fouled out of the game, Brazil got exited out of the tournament.
In 1982, Gentile was just knocking him out the entire game. When he was a young Maradona in 1982, they were kicking him out of the field every single game.
But Pele won. Pele won at a younger age. The age that you're saying Maradona was a kid. Pele won before that age.
True. Was it a little bit of a different football back then, though? 1950 and 1980.
But you know why it became different football? Because from the documentary, they said, "Oh, these motherfuckers can play." It became different football because of Pele. When you change the game, when people start organizing defenses and putting people, they just said, "Oh, let's do the Pele shit to Maradona." They didn't say, "Let's do the Maradona shit to Pele."
Well, so then you have so he won. He was the best player on 58 team. He wasn't the best player on 62 team. 66 was a disaster, and 70.
Martin, it wasn't a disaster.
He wasn't the best player on 70 team either.
Martin, in the final, he had a goal and 2 assists.
True.
And he also scored a goal against Uruguay, the team that knocked him out of the first World Cup final, and scored an equalizer.
But what is the 90
and lifted the demons? So what?
What is the 1970 winning Brazilian team known for in the history of football? It's known to be the best team that ever played football.
And who was a part of that team?
He was a part of the team, exactly. Maradona won the World Cup by himself, 1986, by himself. And then by himself, with little help of Canigia, he carried very poor Argentina team, like really average Argentina team, to the
says you.
No, in 1990, they were...
Martin, you don't... Let me ask you a question. Does Messi get any credit for going to the World Cup final and losing?
With all those stars he hit next to him and still losing?
Does Messi get any credit? So why am I going to give Maradona credit for losing a World Cup? That's just the craziest argument. I'd rather give Pele more credit for getting fouled out of the 66. Let me just finish. For getting fouled out of the 66 final, injured out of it, and then his team being pulled. That shows you how much of the team he was. Because... Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Lee?
In 1990, though, before I give you, Lee, a room here, in 1990, he had all Articacha, he had Monzon, he had some old defenders, and only one Canigia. Messi in 2014 had Aguero, had Higuain, had all those stars.
I'm not fighting for Messi, but nah, bro. If Messi don't get credit for it, listen, I give him the credit for the World Cup he won. I'm not going to give him credit for some shit he lost. I'm going to give the German team the credit that beat him. You should be naming those German players' names off.
Yeah,
sure.
That's like
Remes for the winning goal. No problem.
If you're looking at like World Cups and stuff, that's like saying that Mustafi is the same level as Laurent Blanc. They both have a World Cup. Like, or do you remember Roque Jr.? Used to play for Brazil. He's a World Cup winner, and I hate these debates because everyone, it's so subjective. Everyone has their own opinion, and these guys are they're all legends. They're all greats. They've shaped the culture. They've shaped history, and they'll be remembered forever. That's all you can say, really. But I love the way some of the arguments are presented. Like the whole Pele was part of a better team. That's like saying that Vardy is better than Messi because Vardy helped Leicester win the title with Wes Morgan as a teammate.
Right.
But these arguments are fun. That's all because there's no winner. There's no way of winning
Pele.
These arguments.
Yes, sir, it's Pele.
But I will say this, I was the same as kind of like Martin before I saw the documentary.
Right.
And not just because of the whole, because I have a big fondness for Maradona too. My dad grew up as a raging Maradona fan. Like the '86 World Cup was the first time there was color TV back in India, and our houses was one of the few ones in the neighborhood that had it. So this is a bunch of guys who used to just like apparently come back from work and stay over the entire night watching games in our house. So and my thing with Pele was like, the dude has always played in Brazil against God knows what kind of opposition. He's never been tested in Europe except once every 4 years. But when you see the documentary, you see the kind of tactics he was up against, you see the quality of the goals. That wasn't just like somebody allowing you to walk yourself into the goal. That was proper defending that was happening there.
Yeah.
And he has that. I think one thing that always goes in Maradona's favor is that he wasn't just a great football player, he was also a great football personality. And I think because Pele is older, a lot of that can be lost about what kind of a personality he was. This documentary kind of shown like this was a pretty glamorous guy off the pitch too, It wasn't, he kind of like changed the prototype of the Brazilian footballer. And to do it being 17, 18 or whatever he was.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, those were some legit ass goals that he scored. They're as good as Maradona's run against England. Those, and no hand of God. Like all legit goals, bro. No,
he never cheated, you mean, except on his wife.
Yeah. Like he was just as good as cheat on his wife as well, actually, he told his wife. He said, I never lied, So, I know, I go Pele, man. But Martin, you got a good argument, but I go Pele.
Okay. I mean, listen, credit to Pele too. And I think the interesting part about the documentary is both Maradona and Pele had their flaws politically, Pele was kind of supporting the regime. Maradona,
he didn't support the regime. He didn't support any political power. He just
got involved in a little bit in the government stuff, like which the documentary kind of shows.
No, he went and met the president or the dictator. He didn't say, "Hey, I'm on your side." He didn't support anybody.
And he never kind of backed off from that. So
he never what?
But that's South America for you, where politics is very involved in football. There's not much you can do.
Yeah. Champions League. Let's just wrap up with that. Real Madrid do their thing. Atalanta does not. I don't know what happened to Atalanta today. I thought they was going to come out swinging. They came on the field with no bats, and they did not do anything. They lost. I think it was 3-1 to Real Madrid. And sometimes you don't know what Madrid is going to show up, but the right one showed up, and they got them points. I don't know if anybody saw the games, had a chance to check them out, or what their thoughts are.
I haven't had a chance to watch that one.
No, me neither.
Well, if you see it, it wasn't the most exciting game, but Real Madrid handled their business. Modric had that good game. I think Zidane started playing him in the Pirlo position when Pirlo got older. So I think he made him like the pivot, the old Pirlo position, and Casemiro and Cruz, but Modric did his thing this game. And
I think it's Atalanta's been a great story though. A club of their size getting as far as they have done, they've just run out of steam. It's a little bit too much for them, but they've played really well and really surprised some people throughout this, and they're still going okay in Serie A this season. I'm not sure they'll make Champions League again, but they're definitely a club that's elevated their stature over the last sort of 18 months or so.
Yeah, they had their little run. It might be over. They sold, that kid, and
he wasn't ever in the first team there though. So
but he would have been a definite boost, for them in the future.
Oh, massively.
And when you do stuff like that, it's like, was it Lisbon that sold Man U Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Before he was Ronaldo, it's like you like just based on what I've seen that kid do, and I've watched some of the highlights of him playing in the under 23s. I'm like, this might be real. And where do you get another one of those like that? You know, Martin, did you see?
He wouldn't have stayed there long though, and plus they got a good price for him.
They did. They did. You know, maybe Atalanta's the Southampton of Serie A. Did you see Man City?
I've seen Real Madrid.
Gladbach?
I've seen Real Madrid highlights, and I'm just. It's kind of crazy that Sergio Ramos is right now doing everything for Real Madrid, even taking penalties.
He's been doing that though. He got 100 goals.
For the last 2 years, I think he wasn't before. Like he's
when Ronaldo was there. He wasn't.
Benzema's
I
doing
think
great.
he goes for the scoring record. You know, like I don't think there's another defender who scored that many goals.
He's an amazing defender, and he gets shit for it. Like I think their record without him playing defense, they lose, and I think they haven't lost in a long ass time with him.
This guy.
And he also made it to Man U. I remember there was a
more.
He considered coming to Man U. I think like 6 or 7 years ago, there was a rumor that he might go.
Hey man, there's rumors that he was going to come in the transfer window in January.
Oh,
like I follow him on Instagram, and he's always training. He's always showing off his legs. His shorts look like Marilyn Monroe standing on that grate with the heat. Like this motherfucker show off his legs more than Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, and he's always working out. And it's like I think I said this before. Him and Ronaldo have the same disease. Like stay in shape. Like let's work out. Let's play for as long as possible. And he's having the same problems as Ronaldo, where the ownership doesn't believe he deserves a longer contract, even though his longevity is happening right before their very eyes. Because just the history of football says somebody like this is not going to stay in shape, or he's going to fall out of fitness and get injured. But the team wins with him. He's going to try to go on a Maldini run, you know?
Benzema is doing great too.
Yeah.
Like he's pulling them out because they don't have a lot of firepower right now.
Right.
Hasn't got injured again.
I heard that Ronaldo's agent is trying to get him back there, which is crazy.
For what, $100 million? That'd be hilarious.
About 30 million. You guys might get him.
Oh, that's a deal. That's a hilarious deal.
Would you take him back for 30 million?
No, I want to develop our players. I'm not like you hear me talking about patience and patience for Arsenal, patience for Chelsea. I would definitely direct that patience at us. We have a team. We probably need to buy a good holding midfielder in the off season, but we need to figure out how to blend these kids with these adults and get this thing popping and make a championship run. And that's what we need to do. He'll be taking
Cavani's minutes. He won't be taking any minutes of the young guys.
Yeah, but Mason Greenwood might be able, to be play forward. It's like we're just stunting his growth.
True.
Yeah, and then Ahmad, it's like we got to find places to put people. I say we keep Cavani one more year.
He's apparently going to Boca Juniors, though.
Yeah, I heard he's not happy at Man U. I don't know what the problem. His dad was saying something, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? And what about Mönchengladbach, Man City? De Bruyne scored a major laser.
Goal.
Yeah. And
I really liked Foden's assist for the second goal. A little no-look pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was balling out today, Foden.
Yeah. He's like, Mason Mount, I'm coming for you. I got to give Mason Mount, though. He's been balling.
They released the squads for the England under 21 Euros which kind of says who's not making the senior squad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think folks like Greenwood, Hudson, I think maybe a couple of other folks. Yeah, so a few folks are not going to be even in the running for the.
Yeah, Smith Rowe was in there as well.
Smith Rowe, yeah.
But the interesting ones they left out were like Jude Bellingham wasn't in there.
Oh yeah,
and he's been playing ridiculous for Dortmund considering his age.
Yeah,
he's really special, so he could be in the senior team for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Martin, did you see any Man City stuff, or you good?
Here's the thing about Man City. The moment they will win the league officially, and I think that the moment is coming very close.
You know what? Sorry, Martin. I'm gonna. You know what I want to say? I'm gonna put. I'm gonna put money on it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Man City's gonna win the league. I'm sorry. That's all I want to say.
I think that they will put everything into Champions League because that's the trophy they haven't won with Guardiola, and I still don't think they're the favorites. Although if they hit the right form at the very end, Bayern will still be out there and PSG will be out there. So they have a shot, but so far semifinals seems to be the problem for Guardiola. So let's see how they cope this time. And plus, he doesn't have a great record against Bayern specifically. So let's see.
All right, Martin. Who's the big game next weekend?
Tomorrow, yeah, some big games.
Oh yeah, let's finish the Champions League.
This weekend is only like 4 games.
Tomorrow, I think we play Atletico Madrid. And
do you think you could hold on to that? That 1-0. That 1-0 Giroud accident. You think you can hang on to that?
Yeah, we should. I mean, all we need to do is not.
Concede
or not
yes
concede.
Exactly.
No, but even a 1-1 draw would be fine, which is why I'm like, if you're not scoring, just not conceding also puts you on a knife's edge though.
Hey.
It's not a given though. You're still hoping for something, and we know in a game like this Atletico is gonna wait. I don't think they'll come at us right from the get-go.
For real?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they can even do that, even if they want to.
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, Diego Simeone in a big knockout game.
No, I saw, but they're down. They're down a goal, and is it at your home?
Yeah, it's at our home.
Yeah, so they're at your home. They're down a goal, and they know if they score, it counts double. So they'll come at you. Plus, I saw them play Real Madrid in a derby, and they came at Madrid. They switch it up sometimes.
They've got players now as well to do that. Like in the previous years, they had a team that was very suited to playing on the counter attack and being aggressive defensively. But now they have guys like João Felix in there and Carrasco as well. They can go at teams.
Suarez.
I'm just going by how the last game went. Like even when they were down, they really couldn't do much. So, but yeah, I mean they are gonna go for it. Because there's no second chances after tomorrow. So we'll have to be, and we have probably our best player of the season, Mason Mount, is out. Our best defender, Thiago Silva, is out. Our top scorer, Tammy Abraham, is out. One of our key midfielders, Jorginho, is out. So, it's going to be a big task to somehow, keep everything secure and still do enough to, get a... if we are going into this game thinking that, we can make a 0-0 draw, I don't think that's the way to go about it.
I think the way he approaches games is fine because even though you guys attack, you guys cover each other. So I think you guys will be fine. Martin, do you have any thoughts on Atletico versus Chelsea?
Atletico blew it last year against Leipzig, and if they lose to Chelsea, they will blow it again pretty much because they were the favorites. So I'm not counting them out yet. They're still in the battle for the title in La Liga, although I think they should probably win it. The advantage is solid, and it looks like they're gonna win it. I would say if you have a guy like Suarez on your team, a proven winner, proven champion, you can always have a chance. And they have a bunch of veterans, and they're a dangerous team. And Chelsea didn't have a bad defensive game under Tuchel yet, so they're past due, and it looks that past due might catch up with them.
Oh shit! Right. You know, no surprise Martin said that. To be honest, it's just Martin. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Bayern is gonna beat Lazio. That's the risk I'm taking.
Here's something I want to say. Because it's actually very interesting. So Lewandowski technically needs only 8 goals in the last 9 games to break the most unbelievable record in club football, which is the Gerd Müller's 40 goals in the season record from like 1970, 71, something like that. So he needs 8 goals in 9 games. But here's the problem. If Germany goes into, because they have a COVID problem right now, they have Poland too, but Germany, they have a serious COVID problem. Poland plays on Wembley World Cup qualifier against England. If he needs to quarantine and he will miss 2 Bayern games and miss on the record because he goes to play for Poland on Wembley, that would be an interesting dynamic. So we'll see what happens, but that's, the COVID thing still messing things up.
Martin, would you want to sacrifice Lewandowski playing for your country so that he can get
against England on Wembley? He has to play.
But he's going to miss out on the record.
Yeah, it's fired.
Poland haven't turned up in a game against England for years anyway. It doesn't really matter.
And Lewandowski, even when he's there, doesn't turn up for Poland, so he might as well just stay home.
We now have a new coach who used to be actually a great player. We hired him a month ago, Paulo Sousa. He won 2 Champions Leagues, one with Juventus and one with Borussia Dortmund in the 90s. He was the member of the GOAT generation of Portuguese superstars. It was him, Figo, João Pinto, and Rui Costa.
What's his name?
Paulo Sousa.
Yeah, he's been manager of like Swansea and
Leicester, right? Yeah.
He got sacked at Leicester, got sacked at Swansea, got sacked at Fiorentina as well.
I like how Lee came out with the rap sheet.
Damn.
He was cheap hiring.
He's been sacked at lots of mid-table clubs.
Oh shit!
But what I will say, he is probably one of the most best dressed managers. So he's got that.
So you got the Scott Parker of the Europa qualifying. So is that a rap sheet or a fact sheet? But they're both the same thing. All right, Mom. What's your last words, bro?
Well, to add on that, it's pretty much Lewandowski who hired him because he runs the Polish Federation by himself. And he didn't get along with the previous coach. The previous coach said something about him on the press conference and got fired like a week later. So he said something that the coach is the one who makes decisions, and then he got fired 7 days later. Everybody knows Lewandowski runs everything in Poland. My last word is that pretty much nothing has changed in my opinion about the season in England. There's a lot going on still in the Champions League, and I still think Bayern and PSG will have a rematch this year.
That's all right. What you got, Neil?
No, really nervous about tomorrow's game. It's probably the biggest game for Chelsea in about 6 or 7 years because we haven't won a single knockout round in the Champions League in 6 years, which for a club like Chelsea is insane. And we have a lead now. We can't bottle it tomorrow. And we need to set, and hopefully then get Porto in the quarters. I'd love that.
You're always worried though. You're worried about your game against Sheffield United. So
no, I feel top four. We are kind of done right now.
Oh yeah, that's impressive.
With West Ham, Everton, and Spurs is the one I was a little worried about because they have the players who can hurt us, who can hurt us in the table. But just they gave away 3 points to Arsenal. So and Mourinho is gonna keep doing these things in a few more games. So I think that's gonna be just enough breathing space for us.
What you got, Lee?
I mean, the biggest game is at the weekend, which is Southampton versus Bournemouth in the FA Cup quarter-final. So it's a big South Coast game, that one. But I mean, we lucked out in that draw. If we lose to them, we probably deserve to get put in the relegation battle as well. But I think if we beat Bournemouth and Man City in the semi-finals, because the semi-finals are already drawn. I mean, assuming City beat Everton, which I think they will. So we won't go any further if we do win this game, but it'd be nice to get to a semi-final. It's a nice distraction from the league.
All right.
So you might be what I remember Martinez did with Wigan Athletic. He won FA Cup and went down in the same team.
Oh my God.
Mine's so desperate for us to go down.
but he ended up coach of Belgium, so he lost up. Yeah.
He got Everton job first for good money.
Yeah. And stuff there. So
he's actually the best ever pundits on TV. Like when he's on TV, he's very, very good. Always.
You know when he's not good? Whenever there's a Belgian player playing on a Champions League team, his assessment of that team's performance is bad because he's such a homer to that Belgian player. He doesn't take his that player's coach goggles off, and he normally gets it wrong. But besides that, he's a good coach. He's a good pundit.
There's some great stories from the Wigan FA Cup win against Man City in the final that he planned so well for that game. Like he knew exactly how City would play, and he had a plan where if Wigan got a goal, he said to his players, like, this is exactly how City will respond. And they did. So the players knew exactly what they had to do when City changed and tried to come at them. Like, yeah, there's been some really good information throughout that game. Players just said, like, he's so meticulous with his detail. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he comes back to the Premier League at some point.
Yeah, he might. I'm worried. Neil got me in a worrying mood, so I'm worried about Manchester United versus Milan. And I think that game is Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. Milan is going to have some of their players back, I think. It was a 1-1 tie in the first leg at Man United. We're good on the goalkeeper, yeah, we're good on the road, but the good thing. Listen, we might lose, but the good thing is at least they can't say Solskjaer lost in another semi-final. So either way,
interested.
Martin, let me finish my last point, bro. How am I telling you the rules of this? Thanks for stepping on what I was going to say. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's it. What was you going to say? Interrupt and ask Martin.
Sorry, it came on delay. Zlatan is back with Swedish team, so that's interesting wrinkle.
Oh yeah, 39. He quit and he's back. Yeah.
You've got tough games as well, because after Milan, you've got Leicester in the FA Cup, which will be a battle.
Yeah, we got nothing but tough games coming up. To be honest, it's like our schedule is rough right now. We didn't take advantage of the West Broms and the Sheffield Uniteds and the whoever else we could have beat. But
Paul Bruno is going to be playing 90 minutes again every single game.
Yeah, and he swears he's not tired. He's like, Bruno, you tired, bro. So, but Pogba's back and Cavani's back on training. So those things will help, and maybe we use them.
But you're done with Man City, though. That's something a lot of other teams around you are not done with. So
yeah, because I think Man City. Who do they have this weekend that's going to help us if they win?
It's Everton in the FA Cup.
Oh, so they're not
playing. There's no league this weekend?
There's league games for the teams that aren't in the FA Cup. There's like 4 Premier League games, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think a lot of teams have games in hand, so I guess that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be Arsenal. Is that this weekend? Fulham Leeds.
Yeah, Brighton
Newcastle. Aston Villa versus Tottenham. That's going to be tough, Martin.
Yeah.
And West Ham versus Arsenal. And that's West Ham, Arsenal. It's tough.
Without Grealish, they're not the same team, to be quite honest with you.
I know. Is he going to be back?
Nah.
No? Yeah, they're not the same. They just drew with Newcastle. So, all right, guys. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, for doing your thing, putting this thing together. Martin, thanks for coming in from Atlanta. How long you in Atlanta for?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. All right. Have fun out there. Wear 5 masks. Do what you got to do.
I do. What else? Because I tried to actually order some food inside yesterday, and I walked out after 10 seconds. Nobody else is wearing masks.
Yeah. They didn't want to wear them in the first place, and now things are opening up. You know there's going to be no masks. So yeah, fuck it. You're in Atlanta. Neil, thanks for coming through. We're gonna send you the stuff later. Lee, damn, you got work in the morning?
Yeah.
Congratulations on the new spot. The ceiling is fantastic. So imagine the rest of the place. Yeah. You've definitely stopped. You're not in an apartment anymore. Yeah, they're gonna have to go through the doorman to break into that house. So.
It's only a 1 bed. It's only a 1-bedroom spot, but yeah. It does have an electric gate though at the car park.
I knew it.
Which part of the ceiling?
Yeah, that ceiling tells me we got an electric gate. That's what that says to me. Recessed lighting and everything.
What part of the city, Lee?
It's not in the city. It's in the countryside just outside London.
Martin, he can't give out his troop location. What's wrong with you?
I grew up in a neighborhood where our cars got broken into. So yeah, this is nice.
All right. Thank you all for listening and for watching. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends we love you, and be safe. And let's talk more football. And leave some comments. 1.